Good morning, and thanks so much for tuning in to the Trade Setup with me, Niraj Shah, back from the studios. And let's start with the global news flow first. I don't have a did you know today, so excuse me for that. But it's a packed day of news flow. So US stock futures are little changed after Dow and the S&P hit record highs. Asia is kind of taking off some leaves from there as well. Oil has climbed a little bit on China stimulus, Middle Eastern conflict, hurricane risks, and all of these remain clear and present danger to an otherwise downtrending oil. Remember, the last 2 days at the JP Morgan conference, their forecast is that oil will be mid-60s by 2025. That's quite something. Well, apparently, as per a Harvard poll, Kamala Harris drops Donald Trump 64% to 32% amongst young voters. Is that enough to swing the battle in her favor? I mean, news flow around this will be very exciting for the next couple of months for sure. S&P expects RBI to begin cutting rates in October itself. So one more voice talking about an October action, but a lot of people saying that the RBI will probably want to wait and watch. It does not need to follow the US central bank because of its own DIY capabilities. Okay, what did the US markets do though? Overnight, like I said, they did okay. Dow futures are flattish to marginally lower. Asia, is it picking off from where the US left off? Well, some bit of strength out there. Hang Seng in particular, after a mammoth move yesterday, another uptick out there in the session today as well. The opinion about whether this really moves the needle or no is divided right down the middle. Maybe the markets will sniff victory and certainly rally. So keep an eye out for this. The GIFT Nifty currently, or the Nifty implied open, suggesting a 22-point down tick as of right now. Okay, so what's the trade setup for the day looking like? I mean, just before that, you know, like I said, what is happening with China is important for metals and for people looking at global markets too. So Nomura's Chetan Sheth says that there is a tactical relief rally likely and a possibility a la Jan 2024 of a kind of an uptick has come in as well. But the sustained rally is unlikely unless accompanied by strong fiscal measures. So this is the view from Chetan Sheth of Nomura. They look at Asia very, very closely and therefore important. They say the sustained rally is unlikely unless accompanied by easing in geopolitical tensions as well. So what's the trade setup for the day looking like? We've done remarkably well. Now, I think most people say that let the positions drift higher with stop losses in place. Don't try to time the exit if you're not sure, simply because the markets is making a habit of surprising everybody. Yesterday, and you will hear the conversation with JP Morgan's Rajiv Batra today, you can understand what a bullish tone looks like. Tune in at 10:30 on 10 o'clock on Talking Point today, and you will get to hear a proper bull version of what the markets could look like as well. So maybe stop losses and letting the positions drift higher is a better strategy than trying to time the market. Everybody who's tried to time the market right from 24,000 has failed and failed miserably, right? We are at 26,000. So that's the part one of the trade setup today. Remember, IPOs are getting some heavy subscriptions. So Swiggy and Hyundai IPOs, both of them apparently have gotten the green signal, and they may help absorb the excess liquidity as well. I mean, this is the need of the hour as well. Very strong primary paper. And just look at the IPO action. I'll get to that in a moment. It's some very strong IPO action in the smaller lot as well. Metals had a big rally yesterday. The trade is still an active trade, but keep in mind the Q2 results will be skittish, and therefore you want to be careful about your metal positions. So that's one thing to keep at the back of your mind. Okay, like I said, can we get to this in the end? Let's just first go to the primary market action and the fund flows. We'll get to Jefferies on Piramal Pharma at the end. So let's leave that for now. Fund flows. 24th September, FI sold shares were 2,784 crores. Remember, on 23rd, there was a small buy. The previous session was a very big buy, but it's not like it is looking like there is a swing move from the FIs on the buy side as well. So that's to be kept in mind. On 20th September, remember, 14,000 crore worth of shares were bought. But yesterday, we saw net sell. Anyways, let's wait and watch. So it's not a trend, if you will. Also, primary market action seems to be trending really, because look at Manba Finance, subscribed 73 times already on day 2. This is not something that we see very, very usually. So I suspect that this could end as one of the highest grossing number of times subscription in the calendar year. My suspicion is that it will be that. KRN Heat, the issue opens today as well. So that is something that you want to watch out for too. And Now, let's get to the stocks to watch in the session. Today, we'll get Jefferies on Piramal Pharma right at the end. First, let's start off with the two block deals that are likely to happen today. So, Easy Trip Planners is the first one on my list. Promoter Nishant Pitti is likely to sell up to 8.5% stake via block deals as per sources, or these are people in the know. The pricing is at about 41.5. The point is, viewers, it's a very large stake sale, and therefore could stay as a bit of an overhang on the stock, but the pricing is decent, so that's to be kept in mind. But 8.5% stake is not small, so keep this in mind. The other one is KC International, I believe. This QIP is launched to raise about 870 crores. The issue price or the indicative price is at 955, so a slight discount. Watch out for this one, has had a really good rally, a lot of order wins as well. If the QIP gets absorbed well, the dip could be bought into, so bear that in mind. So that's a KEC. One stock that could be active today on the gaining side could be MCX, has revised the transaction fees on futures and options contracts effective October 1st. Now they will have a single slab exchange transaction charge versus an earlier methodology that they followed. And analysts believe that this is a 3-4% better realization move versus the previous slab-based charges as well. So watch out for MCX. Remember, exchanges any which are in focus. They've done so well. I mean, whether they are commodity exchange or stock exchange like BSE. Sure, IEX could have done better, hasn't, but I would suspect that this one could have a good move on MCX today, so do keep an eye out for this one. Delta Corp could react. Now, we know that the casino business is a big drag now with the recent government rulings. So what Delta Corp is saying, that they've approved the demerger and listing of the hospitality and the real estate businesses into a new company called Delta Penland. Net, you will get 1:1 for every share of Delta Corp that you hold. Now, could this bring about a much needed boost for Delta Corp? Remains to be seen, because the casino business is a bit of a drag. Remember, what will eventually also happen is that as the regulations stay, when this demerger goes through, people, if anything, will go for Delta Penland shares. Delta Corp shares will certainly suffer. But today, if you buy Delta Corp, you get one share of Delta Penland as well. So I would suspect that there could be a mild positive reaction on this one as well. Bandhan, there will be a lot of talk around this. I don't think it's a big deal, but I'm laying it out. So the chief audit executive has resigned from Bandhan Bank, but the last date is December 21st. So there's a 3-month notice that he serves. I don't think this is a rushed decision or due to some anomalies, etc. I don't have details really. The exchange release merely lays out this much, but I'm just laying out my hat in the ring that I don't think this is a big negative, so please bear that in mind. That is one more stock on your radar today. May react a bit negatively, I don't know, but I would suspect that this is not negative news for Bandhan. Gillette 2, just a 2% impact. So PNG Bangladesh has terminated the distribution agreement effective December 31st. But Bangladesh was 2% of sales for Gillette India, and therefore I suspect that will not be too much of an impact, maybe 2-3%, if you will. Maybe not even that. Let's see. Two brokerage note. First one is HDFC Bank. HSBC has come out with a note on HDFC Bank with a buy rating. The target price has been raised to 187 from 1870 to 2010. The current price is 1768. This is following NDTV Profit's exclusive news break. And HSBC says that the loan sell downs, which my colleague Vishwanath broke yesterday, they herald in faster normalization, and they're assigning a higher multiple to both the bank and its NBFC subsidiary, which is HDB Financial. So watch out for HDFC Bank. May see some more upsides today, who knows. The other one is Jefferies on Piramal Pharma, wherein they have raised the target price to 260. The current price is 217. They say that in their investor forum, Piramal has said that it's aiming for 2x revenue and 3x growth in EBITDA by FY30, which translates into a 12% and 20% revenue and EBITDA CAGR, which is positive, of course. And they believe that the higher contribution of innovator CDMO contracts can provide operating leverage benefit to Piramal Pharma. If this one reacts, you know why that is reacting. Some insurance stocks might react as well because of the data that has come out. Metals, remember I said, is still an active trade, but please be careful because the Q2 results are not expected to be that great. But it's a packed day on NDTV Profit through the day as well. So do tune in on the television sets and try and catch some of the very interesting conversations that we have lined up for you. Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup.